Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be playing the T30. The T30 is actually, the T30 is a heavy. The T30 is a heavy. I don't care what anybody says. The T30 is a heavy tank, but actually it's not. So, of course, the T30 is down as a tank destroyer. But those of you, if anyone is out there that plays the T30 like a tank destroyer, then you should delete the game because it's not a tank destroyer, but it actually is. Don't play it like a tank destroyer. It's a heavy, but it's actually not. So we're going to talk about the T30, how I love the T30, how I've always loved the T30, and how everyone should love the T30. So we're going to look at the stats, we're going to look at everything really, and then we're going to get into some games. Now the T30 can easily be a tier 10. Honestly, it can easily be a tier 10 and it will still succeed. It's always been one of my favourite tank destroyers in the game, not just in tier 9, but in the game. Because it's amazing. It really, really is. And I was calling years ago when the E4 sucked for them to swap, you know, put the E4 to tier 9 and move the T30 to tier 10 because it deserved to be in a tier 10. It can hold its own in a tier 10, you can do damage in a tier 10, and it's just amazing. So you do have 279 turret armor, which is super, super strong. Now, of course, there are weak points like most tanks, but if you're up against tier 8s, no one is going to pen your turret. However, your hull is very weak at 102. Now, your DPM 2706, we're not running calibrated shells. I think it has enough pen for what it is, so I am actually running the rammer just to keep that DPM what it is. The reload is 14.19 seconds. Now, the penetration 259 on your AP and 310 on your APCR. So you're going to get through most things with that penetration. And 90 on your HE. You have a 640 alpha gun, 545 on your APCR, and a whopping 960 on that HE. So of course, if you can get that HE out, do so, because it will up that DPM, and it's very, very nice doing 1,000 damage into those tanks with the fragile tanks. Aim time 3.9 for what it is, I don't think is too bad. And your gun dispersion 0.353. And with that amazing turret, you also have 10 degrees of gun depression. So yeah, you can use that. Get on a ridge and use that turret. 38 kilometers per hour top speed. Now we're going to have just 3 very, very quick games, and you're going to see very, very quick games, apart from this one that's over 4 minutes. And this one's actually the tier 8 game. So I think the other two are a tier 10. So we're just going to fast forward little bits of it. I don't know if we get that shot there, so let's just fast forward a little bit more. But yeah, if you're not on a ridge, your hull is very weak, so do bear that in mind. Your hull armor is pretty much non-existent. Tier 8s will be able to deal with that armor easy. They'll be able to deal with it very, very easy, so do bear that in mind. AMX 1390 decided to run away back to the garage. Goodbye. Now, there are 3 tank destroyers. One of them there, and there is 2 of them. One of them is actually hiding, and as you can see, well, there's one of them, and I'm going to get shot in a minute by the other one, but him shooting me, he's going to pay the price, because the other tank destroyer is actually an RHM Borzik, and you know what's going to happen with my juicy HE. There we go. What are you doing? Why did you shoot me? Let's take a nice shot, and yeah, you can go back to the garage now, Borzik. And yeah, that is what happens when you shoot the Meadsmeister. Like, what is he thinking, shooting me? And he pays the price. So very, very juicy shot there with that HE. We're going to get the shot there on the Conway. I mean, it's just, I can't speak highly enough of this tank. Now, I'm going to get shot. I thought I was going to get shot. Thanks to my Chrysler K for saving the day. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. So, sorry. I do apologise. So yeah, very quickly, just 2.5k damage done there. To be fair, not too much happens. We're going to get a shot into this WZ 519. You know, that is a bit of a low roll, and we are actually going to get another shot. But this game, even though it was a tier 8 game, actually pretty boring, not gonna lie. Let's move on to the tier 10 games, because that is where you can see the real T30 up against those tier 10s, and as you can see, they are very, very quick games. So usually when I am tier 9, you do like to come up against the tier 8s, you know. It's always the way. When you are top tier, it always usually makes for a better game. But when I'm in the T30, honestly, I don't mind. I really don't mind what tanks I come up against. I don't mind if it's a tier 10 at all, because again, you can hold your own against tier 10s. T30, almost, I mean, IS7, almost Amaraked him, almost, and that's a tier 10 tank. I know it's an IS7, but if you can get this tank on a ridge, if you can get it on a ridge, I say it too often, to be fair, because there are a lot of tanks out there that are just absolutely remarkable on a ridge, but this is one of those. Of course, other than on a ridge, you do, I mean, look at the size of your turret. The turret on this tank is actually bigger than my house. So it has got a big turret, so you do need to be careful of that. If those that come around you, again, there are some weak points. Just look away now. Don't watch now, just honestly, just look away, and then you can turn back and watch. Nothing ever happened. You're just looking at me, looking at other tanks. You never even see what just happened there. So thank you if you did actually turn away. So 1200 damage at the minute. Let's try again, shall we, in front of this this Conway. So I do manage to get the shot. Now, there is the Sheridan behind. Other than your turret, honestly, you don't have any armor. The sides, the rear, people can actually HE you from almost anywhere, especially the guys with the big guns. They can HE even your front. So do be careful of that. It is a tank all about that turret. Now, you're going to see the turret here, well, kind of, but because he was turning, he did make it very easy for me to penetrate. So far, 2.5k damage done in this game. And again, you're coming out sideways, you're going to expect to be penetrated. No idea what he was doing there, however, but he's a goner. He's a goner. So let's just quickly fast forward it. We are trying to rush to this Rhinoceronte as soon as possible. We're going to have to snap it before anyone takes the kill. And because of that shot, we do just go over the 3, or just under 3.5k. So, you know, that's 2 games, just over 3k damage. Both games we've ended on as the top damage, and even in tier 10. I mean, yeah, we smashed it. Let's try again. Let's go again, shall we? Can we make it 3 out of 3? Again, just a 2.5 minute game, this one. Just like the game that we've just saw. There is 5 tier 10s, and then of course there is just 2 tier 9s. And this time we are able to get on a map with a little bit of a ridge, which really will help. However, I'm not going to use that ridge. Of course, I'm not going to use that ridge. I'm going to go down, and again, if you're not on a ridge and you come up against these guys, expect to be penetrated, because you will. You're not going to bounce anything unless you are on a ridge. Hello, T22. I am going to go for you because you are a good tank, and I'd rather you out of the game because you have very nice armor and you have very nice DPM. So the quicker you're in the garage, the better for everybody on my team. You can see the rush. I mean, the rush from my team here, absolutely amazing. That shot there was almost as good as the rush. However, the enemy are still doing well, but they are pushing that side of the map. So they've pretty much cleared anything over that side of the map. And we've managed to clear anything over this side of the map. So they have got 2 bases. We are trying to obviously cap base A. Well, we are going to cap base A. There's a few tanks down there. This is where you do have to be careful, because the WZ113, you can see the Foch here trying to get into positions. I can still get the shot on that Foch out. At this point, I'm not risking anything. You know, I'm going to back up if I need to and only push when I know I can push. And now 4 of us are actually pushing forward. We can push and we can try and get as much damage as we can. Haven't quite got the gun depression to be able to get that Progetto here. And then I'm just going to wait, and I'm going to seize my opportunity, go for the right targets. And for me, the WZ is the main target. He's the one with the DPM. He's the one with the armor. And the quicker I can get rid of him, the better. But at this point, we're all pushing now. We're all pushing, and I'm just going to try and get as much damage as I can. Can I get some damage on the Progetto? Yes, I can. Bit of a low roll, though. That was a bit of a low roll. But we still managed to get 3.5k damage. Very, very easily. Have we managed to finish again as top amount of damage? Let's see when we go to the end. Can we get 3 out of 3? But honestly, the T30 is an absolutely amazing tank, and everybody should at some point get the T30. And as you can see, easy, you know, finishing top damage when you're lower tier in the T30 is easy. But one thing you should never do is play it like a tank destroyer. Don't ever play it like a tank destroyer. Play it like a heavy, and you will succeed. So let me know your thoughts on the T30 heavy in the comments below. But for now, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.